So in this presentation, basically, I would like to give you an idea about how to structure your business development for enhancing the probability of success. So business development, as we know, has always uncertainties. You can just reduce them by polishing and enhancing the process around it. If you want, or if you have watched the previous sessions, and also as Kuntal explained, so my name is Mario Schäfer, and I'm working in international business for the pharmaceutical industry, being a biotechnologist. After some time in research, I did economy studies and have lived in different countries like Spain, Germany, and also I have a big heart for Latin America. So, and have been quite fortunate to have worked with scientists, startups, up to multinationals, and all of them have different needs in business development, whilst the process is mostly the same. With Asita Pharma, we pass on this knowledge and support customers in project management for their business partnering in international markets. So, especially in sourcing from Southeast Asia, with target markets in Europe and the Americas, as we know, most of us being active in the generic industry. Over the next minutes, we will talk about understanding your business model and why this is important. Just if you just a second, as I'm not seeing my presentation properly. So as said, so to see where you're good at and where you need to partner finally in order to define the complementary partner profiles. So this will help in establishing directed partner process, which is needed to have the best negotiation outcomes and timely decisions for your business partnering project. So basically, a business model describes how an organization creates and delivers value. It can be described in 9 blocks, which will help to sharpen the partnering proposal. So in the center, you see the value proposition over customers, how to reach and create a relationship with your customers. And this will finally generate incomes for your company. At the same time, you will have costs for the activities your business has to run, so your own resources. And here we will talk especially about finding the right partners, which you see in the left part. Your value proposition will have to be interesting to your target customers. In the pharmaceutical industry, as you know, we're mostly talking about medicinal drugs, which relieve a patient's disease. Final payers can be also the insurers, so we have to look at this. For legal restrictions, the possible customer relationships are limited, and pharmaceutical companies use the channel pharmacy and physician to reach the customers. And sometimes you might also need to partner for that. In the sales of medicinal drugs, you will make revenues for the business. And so in the key activities you have to maintain in your business, for example, will be the development, the manufacturing, the logistics, and marketing. And so for this, you will have a dedicated internal team and business facilities as resources. But some activities you will not be able, and you are not covered with own resources. So perhaps they can be done cheaper and better by a business partner, or it's a matter of business location, so in international markets. For example, the development of a new drug candidate, its approval, and up to the sale in international markets, you might need partners for that. And only big multinationals have a worldwide sales structure, but also they are partnering quite a lot with many partners to get access to new products or even other therapeutic areas in distinct geographies. So medium-sized companies will need partners for sure, for local manufacturing, for regulatory approvals, for sales in international markets. They normally tend to partner with other medium-sized companies from other markets. So around your business model, in your partnering plans, you have to consider further points. So like the market ecosystem that drives demand for your products in a particular market, macroeconomic influences like the political situation, but also, of course, the current pandemic situation, which makes a lot of difference in all our business models. it is impacting this quite heavily. So industry ecosystems, like we all know about the cost measures by governments, tenders are imposed, changes in regulatory environments that basically push down the whole value chain of development and manufacturing to be implemented. And also trends for growing and shrinking market, as well as the competitors. So of course, it's always important not to just look at our business model, but also have insights on all what is around. So as the reality of our customers can be changing for different reasons, reimbursement, competitors, whatever. And especially in the pharmaceutical industry, there is a trend towards business partnering. As it is quite locally regulated and being an expert in all fields is difficult. This is already true for several years now and evolves every time further. So basically, there's a nice picture from fully integrated companies which have all the structures in-house, R&D, manufacturing, distribution, up to virtually integrated companies which use very specific partnerships over the whole value chain. And I think all of us have a very examples from that, like from our daily work. So frequently used partners from all the work, I think, are contract development and manufacturing organizations, which normally specialize in technologies that you might not have in-house, CROs that have access to scientific resources and can do studies on your behalf. Definitely also distribution and licensing partners with either give you access to new products or also international markets. Also specialized service providers as investors, funding specific projects or growth initiatives at the company, lawyers that you for sure need in all the partnering settings. So all of these are considered as business partners. So how to structure a partnering process to enhance the probability of success? So as mentioned earlier, we have a certain business offer at hand, and that will be either attractive for the market or not. So, but the only difference we can do is with a well-run process. So that's the only way to enhance the probability of success in business partnering. So in desk phase, you check your business model for missing resources, especially in pharma. We cannot have everything in-house. It's highly regulated. It needs a lot of money in a lot of countries. So we need to partner. So, but we know what we do not have. And with this, we need to define the profile of the desired business partner. So what do they need to bring in? How they can complement us? Do they have the regulatory knowledge? And the sales structure we are looking for so that they can sell our product. Perhaps also they need to bring in capital for the project. And once we know the criteria, all possibly available partners can be defined in a subsequent market research in the relevant territory and passed to a long list of partner companies. Before starting to contact third parties, we shall have certain documents ready to not lose the traction. If a company is interested and you make them wait, this might happen. So we will come back to this in more detail later on. And with certain criteria, you can bring down your long list to a short list, and all these companies are to be contacted in the exchange phase. The data room will support possible business partners in the timely evaluation. And the content of this data room, I will also explain later on. In the exchange phase, you will present your value proposition to possible business partners. And all this has to be followed up closely for interest. So it has to be a timely driven and competitive process, managing many partners in parallel, so we will get the best outcomes. And once collected together with the interested parties, we shall validate the business case. So meaning the potential of generating our mutually beneficial relationship to earn money together. With this, we will have interest to negotiate further. So best with a term sheet followed by an agreement. A term sheet is definitely a recommendable step before going to an agreement. You will see this later on also in the presentation. And special focus has to be given to the closing phase. Negotiations will have to be brought to a flourishing business. And between closing a deal and signing the deal, a lot of things can happen. So a lot of things. Even after the signature and towards the execution, a lot can be in the way. So this needs definitely attention. So we will now have a deeper look at the single steps and check for the best practices. And as mentioned before, if you have questions on those, put them in the chat session, I will get back. And we can also, of course, meet in the networking and we will discuss. So in a non-confidential information pack, you should include a short description, maximum 2 pages, I would say, that summarizes what you would like to establish in a partnership and what you can bring in and what exactly you expect by a partner. It has to be, so make it short and specific. So as all of us, we are very busy, and if we receive and if we share 20-page presentations in the first instance, this might not be the best idea. So this might just go unnoticed. So you can put there all kind of published data, patents, whatever you want to share, and is not confidential. So perhaps in the first instance, they are reluctant to sign a CDA. So all that can be included. But make sure to already have the CDA drafted, because if a business partner is interested in deeper discussions, it shall be already there and not make the company wait for weeks to lose the traction. So a confidential information package can be managed in a data room. I recommend this because it brings the advantage that you can manage who is having access over which time. So it's trackable, you can maintain the best control, and you know where your data is going. So you can put there intellectual property, market research, valuations, business prospections. So make sure to share as much as needed, but not everything. So if you do not sign a deal, the company also could convert into a competitor in the long run. So you can also put there further legal assessments, freedom to operate, consideration, strategic plans, terms, what you would like to establish in the partnership. Also, it always helps to already have clear milestones, both timelines, expected investments. So everything is quite clear to the partner what they have to access. But be sure to limit the access over time, so to put still some importance, maintain importance in the presentation. And contacting companies in the pharmaceutical industry is comparatively simple. All of companies are looking for business opportunities, but it has to be right. So all of us, we receive a lot of emails each day, and business is done with personal relationships and trust, as learned before. So we have to make sure to stay on top of the to-do list, importance list, and we have to take the phone. So this is, I heard from a source that a sale is made between the 5th and 20th interaction. So do not have a clear source for that. But even this, it was from an industry which is not that regulated as in the pharmaceutical phase. So now the time for meetings is restricted, but I think we shall make good use of this tool once it's available again. Best if you can go to their office to meet further staff out of the business development context. As said, personal relationships and trust are key. You will get a gut feeling how the business partner cares about details and cares about your future partnership. In this setting, you can listen, ask questions, learn. This will give insights how to construct a win-win relationship. And do not leave without establishing next steps. Always be important and the responsibilities. After the meeting, the ball is always on your side. So follow up as soon as possible. Do not lose traction. Follow up weekly so progress is made as timely as possible and the project stays on the priority list. Be always open for further meetings. Of course, you could also invite them to your offices. And always, as said, use the phone. So negotiations, as easy as that. So in the best case, you will arrive there and you will have a voluntary exchange zone. So the only thing you can do to make your zone as big as possible, so the probabilities to match with a partner are the highest. And There's a lot of content. You can look at this afterwards. I can share it with you. So, but negotiations have to be prepared well. The worst thing is to be unprepared. All actions shall be best practices. If you are interested, I can recommend you further reads and negotiation practices, whatever you would like to know about this. So make a plan, avoid misunderstandings that can convert into a deal breaker. And best practices definitely is to build up the best team, not only the ones available for traveling, take care of to document everything quite well, and proactively managing your conversations. And at the same time, avoid shortfalls, stay flexible, focus, and do not allow for unnecessary distractions to get slowed down with side issues. Always listen to your potential partner. And before jumping to a contract, I think it's always good to look at the term sheet first, because this avoids that you're dragged in wording issues still when the terms are unclear. So first agree on the terms before you go to the agreement. And the letter of intent then can help to protect your interests in the negotiation phase. So it can be already used for fundraising with project approvals before the signed agreement is finally available. And the agreement discussion, finally, they have to be closely coordinated between legal department and business development. The responsibility shall stay always with business development department. So also to make sure that the legal department does not try to change business terms, which have been agreed before. So the legal team shall focus on bringing agreed business terms in a solid legal structure, not more, not less. And finally, do not underestimate the challenges that can arise once an agreement is negotiated but not signed yet. So follow up closely, as responsible persons might change, financial departments or general management might change opinion out of strategic reasons. All of this, I think we all know. Try to limit the time from a negotiation to signature, to limit the possibility of unpredictable scenarios. And once signed, a project needs to be transferred to the execution team. So we are in business development, we have to make sure that the proper kickoff meeting takes place and all involved departments know their counterparts. So I'm always will be interested to stay in touch, to share insights if you face challenges in your business partnering. So just drop me a line and we can contact. So looking forward to hear from you. Here are my business details. So thanks for listening to the presentation. So as it always happens, I think. Hello.
Good, Mario. Thank you for your presentation. I think it was quite detailed. You know, we still have a few minutes time. You know, our next speaker is joining, so maybe I ask you some questions. You know, and maybe by the time girl can join. So some of the questions are from the audience, but more in general, Mario, what do you see in your experience? You know, what has really changed due to pandemic? Do you see the work pattern, you know, the pattern of the work changing, or you know, maybe in business development, licensing? How are the things in your perspective for last 10-12 months?
Yeah, I think this is a good question. I see that definitely the pace of business development has taken on, because normally, you know, Kuntal very well, we were always going from meeting to meeting. So we said, let's discuss these terms in a personal meeting in a month. And so in the next month, little happened. So now it's just a Zoom call away, and Zoom calls, you know, are quite efficient over all the day. Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meets, we all know that. So I think things are getting faster, but especially with the people we know already before from the personal setting. So for new businesses, it's difficult because normally it's still a quite trust-driven industry. Timelines are long. There's a high investment needed. So I think personal meetings always have been important, and they will be. And for this, new business partners have it a little bit more difficult now to get into companies which they do not know from before.